Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make this wheel right here. So we're going to start with a sketch. I'm going to start by sketching the top surface of it. Okay, so I'm going to create a new sketch. Choose the top plane. Okay, press N so I can see perpendicular to it. Alright, and so the first step, this whole thing is going to have a diameter of 60 millimeters. Let's make a circle. Do center point, so we start from the center and draw our circle. Okay, and while we're at it, we'll draw our second circle here. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and dimension these. So the bigger circle, 60 millimeters. Okay, the smaller circle is supposed to be 12. Alright, and so now I'm going to dimension these, and I'll extrude them, and I'll extrude them separately. So first we'll do the whole thing. So we're going to extrude, and choose that and that, and we're going to extrude it down actually, and I'll do the other one up. And so it has a height of 4 millimeters. So we're going to go down to 4. Okay. And then once that's done, we're going to do another one. Let's make this sketch visible so we can see it. So we'll do another extrude, and this one we'll just click the little circle. And for this one, we want it to go up 6 millimeters. Okay. And so now we have our basic shape. Next thing we're going to do, I'm going to try to get that circle in. That circle's a little tricky, so I'm going to see if I do it earlier, if it makes it easier. And so I'm going to make a sketch on the front plane, and we'll press N to go perpendicular to it. And we're going to go just draw a circle. Okay. And let's dimension that circle. 3 millimeters. Okay, and we have to set the distance from the top. So this is 6 millimeters total. This piece is 3 millimeters, and so that means it's going to be 1.5 millimeters from each side. So we'll say 1.5. Okay, and so that's done. We should be able to do an extrude now using sketch 2. And I'm going to select remove, and that looks like it's going to work. So we'll go choose symmetric, so it removes it from both ways. And you can see it's carved a hole through the middle here. Okay, so up next, let's go ahead and we'll make this shape in the top. And so I'll make a new sketch on this plane right there. I'm going to press N. If you look at the picture, you want to be careful that these are perpendicular. So let's make sure I'm oriented the right way. It looks like I'm good. If this circle was down here, I'd want to rotate a little bit, but it looks like I'm good. So what we're going to do in the center here is we're going to start by drawing a rectangle. Oops. Okay. We'll go a center point rectangle. Okay, and then from there we'll go ahead and add these 3-point arcs on the sides. Okay, so go 1 and 2, and I'm just gonna go like this. Okay, we'll do another one on this side, so 1 and 2, and like that. Okay. And so now we can dimension things. So I'm gonna start by setting this. So let's press D for dimension. So I'm going to start by setting this distance here as 3 millimeters. Okay, and then we want to set this distance right here to 4.6 millimeters. And then we want this distance right here to be 5.5. Now this is going to get a little bit tricky, I think, because we want these to be the same, right? And so I'm going to click, I'm going to press the escape key. I'm going to click here and choose the equal constraint. Let me scroll this out so I can get more options. Oh, I didn't like that. Okay, so let's take a step back. Let's see, undo. So this we got to be a little bit tricky here. We can there you go. So I just put both of the focuses at the center there, and we're good. Okay, and so now that shape is done. Clear selection. Okay, so now we want to extrude this as a whole, and it says it has a depth of 9.4 millimeters. So we're going to choose extrude. I'm going to choose that sketch. Okay, and you can see right off the bat it wants to poke it out. We're going to choose remove, and the depth of 9.4 millimeters. So you can see it doesn't go all the way through. Okay, and if we wanted to turn on the section view, there we go. We'll choose this plane. You can see that it's kind of cutting through almost all the way, but not quite. Alright, and it looks like we've got that part down pretty well. So the last piece is going to be to add the little like cutout on the side where the gasket kind of fits on there for the rubber part of the wheel. And so what we'll do is we'll sketch on this plane right here. So we'll go to a new sketch on that front plane. We'll press N to make it perpendicular. I'm going to rotate it. And what we'll do is we'll sketch on this part right here. Now since I want to use this in my sketch, this spot right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this use button right here. I'm just going to select that spot. Okay, and so what that does is it pulls a line from the drawing to use in my sketch, and I'm also going to set that as a construction line because we're going to use it as a reference. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to draw a little these little triangles here. It's a 90-degree angle, and it's got a depth of 2 millimeters. So let's draw two lines going like this. Okay, and what we can do is this. We're going to set this, we'll set their angle to be 90. Okay, so that's done. We're going to set this distance here to be 2 millimeters. Okay, and then we need to maybe I got something wrong on the dimensions here. Let's see. Maybe this was just supposed to be, oh, and then let me set this and this one to be equal. Okay, it does look like I'm a little off here though. Let's see, maybe this angle should actually be 60 degrees. No, here, let me pause it. So it looks like I misread the diagram. This is 90 right here. Okay, but this right here is not 2. So I have to delete, I guess, this dimension. And then this distance right here is going to be 2. So I'm going to set this distance here as 2. And I set these as equal, or you could dimension that one separately. And then the last thing is to somehow get this to be centered on here. So what we'll do is this. We'll kind of drag this. So one thing that we could have done is when we drew it, we could have lined it up as centered on here. The thing we can do is we can draw a construction line. So I'm going to take a line. I'll choose we'll just draw it first. So I'm going to choose the center point. I'm going to draw it out like this. Okay. And then I'm going to select this line as a construction line. And now what I can do is I can now take this point and drag it so it hooks onto there. Okay. And that now should be good. Oh, I guess this other sketch needs to be fixed. So I'm going to need to fix this as for it to be perfect. So I'll go like this. Alright, it still doesn't want to do this. What's going on now? Is that a coincident constraint right there? Okay, there we go, we're good. So I had to just set this one coincident with this line here so it was on that line so it didn't shift around. And so the last thing I need to do, there's one other thing I need to do, is I need to add a axis of rotation. So I'm going to draw another construction line, one just in the middle right here. Okay, make it into a construction line. Okay, and we're good. So the last step will be to cut this part out. So we're going to choose a revolve. We'll choose sketch 4 here. Okay. And we're going to choose this as our axis. And let's choose the solid option here. So we'll choose our sketch 4. That's our axis. And then we're going to choose remove and merge with all. It doesn't like it. Let's see. So let me undo select. Oh, okay. So the problem here is this. It's not going to let me do this revolve. And the reason why is because this sketch here is not closed off. So in order to do a revolution, we have to make this sketch be closed off. So after I fix this here, it's going to go ahead and do it. So do you see how this is shaded in now? Now it will work because it's shaded in. Okay? So we'll unhide it and you'll see that it cut it out. Okay? The next step from here, now that you've done that, is to add patterns to the inside. Okay, and you can do something custom. You know, the original example just had these circles cut out, but I kind of went through and I made a bunch of different ones, just messing around with it. So like here's like a star kind of spiral thing. Just another kind of spiral with circles. Here's just some regular old spokes. Some spiraled spokes. Some other spokes. Some like patterned shapes. And then this is when I was trying out, I used the loft tool and I drew circles on the front and the back. And then I had them connected, and so you get something where it's kind of going through at a diagonal, connecting the two shapes. I don't know if you can kind of see it happening, how it looks, but that would look kind of cool too. So anyway, now that you've created your kind of blank wheel, it's up to you to create some kind of pattern. And remember that if you were to sketch on the surface of this wheel, you only need to create the instant pattern once, and then you can use the circular pattern option to recreate it a bunch more times. Okay?